However, on the other hand, if water is contaminated, of course, living organisms will not be able to found out there, okay? Life processes such as respiration and photosynthesis need water. In P5 or maybe in P6, you learn about photosynthesis equation, remember? Go and recall your photosynthesis equation, okay? So, water is also part of the equation. Without water, plants cannot photosynthesize and all living things cannot respire. That is applicable to us as well. If you do not drink water, of course, you do not have enough water, we are unable to carry out life processes. Let's talk about food. When organisms live with other organisms, they have to compete for food or risk being eaten by other organisms. Now, remember, in any habitats, there will always be organisms living together. And they will always be competing for food. They also depend on each other for food. So, for example, if Teacher Patrick chases after a pig, okay, just example, I'm the predator, the pig is now my prey. Okay, so if I eat the pig, of course must cook it now, okay? Now, so if I eat the pig, then I am the predator and the pig becomes my prey. If a dinosaur eats Teacher Patrick, then the dinosaur is the predator and I am the prey. So always remember, a predator may also become a prey, not only just a predator all the time. Okay, remember? So remember, a predator can be both a predator at times as well as a prey at times. Okay? By the way, if a goat eats plants, you cannot tell me goat is a predator and the plant is a prey. Always remember, when we talk about predator and prey, we must be talking about organisms that should belong to animal, okay? So for example, my grass can't run right now. So how can I say the goat is the predator and my grass is the prey? Right now, it's not as if my grass can run away from the goats, okay? Always remember that. So please, plants, you can't call it a prey, alright? The animals that hunts and feeds on other animals is known as predator. The animal that is being hunted and eaten is called the prey. So predator and prey. Continue. Animals that get enough food will survive. Animals that are not able to find food will die of hunger. They may even become prey for other animals. Now, in a population, Teacher Patrick mentioned to you, there will be young ones, old ones, even the sick ones as well. So, in the event that a group of predators attack this population of organisms, the adult, the young ones will get to run away. That will leave behind the old ones as well as the sickly ones. So these old ones and sickly ones may end up being a prey to the predators. Okay? Now coming to air. Plants and animals need oxygen for respiration all the time. This is what we have learned all the time right now in P3, P4, P5. Without oxygen, an organism will die very quickly. Without carbon dioxide, plants cannot make food and will die as well. So this is talking about gaseous exchange between organisms such as animals and plants. Okay? Now, in aquatic habitats, most aquatic plants and animals get their oxygen and carbon dioxide from the dissolved air in water. Same thing, they are still talking about gaseous exchange, but this time around the setting is in water. Right now, okay? So aquatic organisms will die if there is not enough oxygen in water. So still on gaseous exchange. Now let's move on to temperature. Just now, Teacher Patrick was telling you about light, remember? One of our first factor that we mentioned was light. Now, light, I told you the main source of energy comes from the sun. So same thing when we talk about temperature, we are also talking about heat, okay? Because the amount of heat that a habitat receives will also affect its temperature. Am I right? So the temperature of a habitat determines the type of organisms living there. So some organisms love it hot. Some organisms prefer it cooling. So it really depends on the temperature. Then they will have a certain type of organisms living down there. Okay? Many organisms cannot endure extreme temperature and will die if it gets too hot or too cold. At high temperatures, organisms will lose too much water and may die. So, I'm sure in the past, you may have read the big book, The Sunflower That Went Flop. Remember? I think that was a P2 or P3, or maybe P2 or P1, I can't remember. But that was a big book, remember? In school you learned about this big book, The Sunflower That Went Flop. So, in that story, the sunflower that went flop, the sunflower went flop because it did not have enough sunlight. Okay? Okay, so in animals, water is lost through their sweat, urine, feces, and exhale air. Just let me share with you something, okay, about dogs. Now, if you look at dogs, on their surface, on their skin, they have no pores. So that's why they cannot sweat. So the only way for them to sweat is by sticking their tongues out to allow water to evaporate, to keep their body temperature cooler. Okay? So this could also become a science question, application question. Okay? So they could ask you, how did sticking out of tongue of the dog allow the dogs to keep themselves cooling? Okay? When the temperature is too low, water in the habitat will freeze. When this happens, land animals will lose their source of drinking water. Some aquatic organisms will die due to the cold. Now, like I mentioned, two spectrum. Polar bear love cold. For example, African elephant prefers it hot. So you see, different climate, different temperature will allow different organisms to live in a particular habitat. Okay? Finally, we're coming to the last one, on soil. The type of soil found in a habitat determines the types of organisms living there. Plants need water and mineral salts from the soil for growth. Now, talking about this, earlier in the day, I actually had my PE6 pupils seated around me, and I asked them, what kind of soil do you think coconut is found? They all told me sand. Then I asked them questions like, how come they prefer sand than soil? Then some of them tell me, oh, because sand has big particles. Yeah, if they have big particles, how does this affect the amount of water inside the sand? Go and think about it, okay? We'll discuss. Someone provide me with an answer when I see you for the online conferencing, okay? And different types of soil are suitable for different kinds of plants. That's why if you look at your mom, your grandma, who love to plant flowers, you'll get to see that they're using garden soil. Garden soil definitely has smaller particles, but they still allow water to drain off quite easily. Okay? But if you look at, there's another type of soil, clay soil. Clay soil, of course, as the name suggests, clay. It is sticky, muddy, it traps water, it doesn't allow water to flow through very fast. So, think about this. We will talk about more, discuss more on our online conference. I'll see all of you very soon. Good night.